All right, here we go. Good Wednesday, July 16th morning. How you doing? This is the Hat and Beard Show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. Guys, today we got a couple of, slop farming for you. We're going to keep things lickety-splickety here. And on the heels of yesterday's, lead story, big story, of the Jets re-signing rather, Garrett Wilson to a big money, $130 million deal with $90 million in guarantees, averages out something like $32.5 million a year. They then turn around. The New York Jets then turn around, and oh boy, did they just go decide that they're going to open up the old piggy bank. They're just going to go directly to the bank and say, I need more money. And they're just going to start paying guys. The Jets re-signed Sauce Gardner to a 4-year, $120.4 million deal. You know, just a simple $85.6 million in guaranteed. I mean, you know, we're just talking about pocket change here. We're just talking about some walking around money, I guess. No big deal, no big thing or whatever. So we'll talk about that here a little bit. And then, just kind of, it really just kind of blows my mind right now. The money that these teams are just like throwing out there at these guys. And I guess, one could speculate that with both of these deals being 4-year deals, 4 years is about the time that Aaron Glenn's going to have to old crapperoo or get off the old Patuski. You know what I'm saying? And maybe these are his guys. Maybe this is something that he's signaling to everybody like, hey, we are going to build our team around Garrett Wilson, rookie. We got some disconnect issues going on here. Successfully reconnected. Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Sorry, guys. Sorry about the wickedly unprofessional nature of today. It's Wednesday, and I'm limping through. I'm on vacation next week, fellas. We'll still have shows, but I'm on vacation from work. Come Friday at 11:01 p.m. I'll be off for at least 9 days, and it's going to be epic and glorious, and I'm just kind of checked out, not going to lie right now. But we'll poke around, and like I was saying, maybe these are, like I say, Aaron Glenn's guys. Now, we will touch on this at the back end. We're going to watch a little video I talked about yesterday, but Brett Coleman has a great breakdown of how these wild contract extensions actually work out, the real math behind it, how the money deals are worked, how guarantees and performance-based incentives are finagled into these contracts, more or less. But we'll talk about that. There's a wee little bitty bit of drama, coming out because we need to fill the slot bucket or the slot bin from the slot bucket. And Randy Moss says Tyreek Hill is, quote, nowhere all time. Says he's top 5 in today's game, and I would probably disagree with that even. But Tyreek Hill, Randy Moss, a Hall of Famer, says, no. This guy is nowhere near being the caliber player that is required to get into Canton. We'll discuss that briefly as we try and fill out the morning. Personally, not too wild about Tyreek Hill. Speaking of Tyreek Hill, you will notice there is a poll going on. I was able to figure out 4 answers for you guys to go ahead and pick between. Is Tyreek Hill? Moss is right, and he's good, but he's no Hall of Famer. And then finally, Randy don't know ball. We are having some serious connections issues today here, guys. I do not understand what's going on. I'm really sorry about that, chat. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Let's go. Good morning. Go Lions. It's raining money in the NFL. Yeah, it really is. And this is something I feel like we've seen more and more of a lean-to where it's, right before camp starts, these guys, elite end talent who, let's get them signed under contract before they go out there and absolutely ball out. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on here. We keep cutting in and out. OBS keeps shitting in my hat and then coming back. I have no idea what's going on. I'm so sorry about that. Technology is great when it works. Yeah, dude. And it's like, I guess all of my hardware is also on vacation mode because it's just being a yeah, for lack of a better word, a twat waffle. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of being a twat waffle. So, good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. It was a real rough, shaky start. But after we talk about this little nonsense, this little nothing burger, just to fill out some time. Again, I talked about Brett Coleman. And now, if you guys haven't, we'll talk about this video. This is one of the best things that I've seen that really breaks it down. So we need to get through these stories so that we can get into this Brett Coleman video here. I'm trying to see on the test screen which view looks better for you. Is this a better camera view, or is the bigger screen there? I think this one will work out best. We'll get to that when we get to that. I hope you guys appreciate all the unprofessionalism and the nonsense that we've been pulling around. So if you haven't already, and you're up for hanging out with us while we just slop through the slop, go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ring that notification bell. Obviously, we will be going 5 days a week. The week of July 28th. That is coincidentally the first week that we have preseason football. The Lions kick off the start of the preseason with the Hall of Fame game that Thursday, July 31st. So think first Hall of Fame or first preseason game, first week of 5 days a week, and it'll be a nice little thing. I think we'll have a nice little show map lined up for a weekly thing. I do I hope, just as a precursor, hopefully none of you guys have problems with watching like bets being placed, because I think we might start maybe doing like a weekly like 3-leg parlay. You know what I'm saying? But it'll be like very Lions specific. So, boy, this is a real casual show this morning. I am just not feeling like Mr. Professional Pants. So let's get into it, fellas.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
What's up, Mr. Detroit City? Let's go Lions. Let's go freedom, dude. Speaking of freedom, I've been shopping hard at the stores around here for those freedom pill dispensing devices, those force multipliers. There are some good deals. The problem is that there's just so many homeless force multipliers that only one me. If they could lower the price on those force multipliers, that'd be a happy guy. Man, you guys are all turning out this morning. What's up, Frank? How you doing, brother? Carrie Simtich, what's going on, dude? Man, you guys. Brent, good morning, my guy. Jeanette, Sam, everybody's here. Damn, everybody's hanging out partying today, dude. All right, yeah, it's a real casual Wednesday today, guys. I don't even have socks on, so that's just kind of telling you it's a little hot up here. But let's read the lead. Kind of like the way that sounds with sources. Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner reaches a 4-year, $120.4 million extension. I did see, Brent, you think this is a bit of a reach for a contract. I think, although the market or the sticker shock is a little jarring, I think the market value is there. Unfortunately, this is driving the price up for everybody else that is going to have to sign, their big name defensive or corners for contract extensions. Bears, Philly. Yeah, Frank, man, you really are my guy, dude. You are Frank is one of the, dude. You guys are all hardcore Lions fans, but Frank, dude, you are like Lions fan supreme, brother. Sam Armstrong's freedom seeds flying, baby. Exactly, dude. I just want to, some things I want to pick up. Want to do a little bit of, target stuffing. I don't want to say it too early in the show because YouTube will Admonish me. Absolutely admonish me. Is OBS screwing up again? All right, we should be rocking and rolling here. Damn. All right, I don't know what's going on with my tech or whatever, but we're just going to keep slogging on through this bad boy. Another day, another major contract extension for the New York Jets. 24 hours after reaching a long-term contract extension with wide receiver Garrett Wilson, the Jets rewarded star cornerback Sauce Gardner with a record-setting contract, a 4-year, $120.4 million extension. Sources said on Tuesday. The sources. The sources. The sources for Sauce. The contract includes $85.653 million in guaranteed per Adam Schefter. The two-time Pro Bowler becomes the NFL's highest-paid cornerback based on average salary per year, $30.1 million. He just, just some pocket change, a little $30 million a year salary. No big deal. No big deal. Just, just walking around cash, some cash. Just a little walking around money. You know what I'm saying? He surpasses Houston Texans star Derek Stingley Jr., who received a 3-year, $90 million extension in March. Just edging him out by that cool $100K. Stingley was drafted 3rd overall in 2022, one spot ahead of Sauce Gardner. And ended up, Sauce ended up taking Defensive Rookie of the Year. Derek Stingley actually kind of struggled his rookie year, and it really came down to Sauce and Hutch. My biases wanted Hutch to win. I was a very upset lad. But ultimately, the reality is Sauce Gardner was a better player in his rookie year. Now, who is more impactful? That is up for interpretation, a matter of how you view the game. If I were building my defense, I would prefer to have a disruptor like Aiden Hutchinson who can produce both in the pass and run game. Now, yes, Sauce Gardner can tackle. The thing that elevates Sauce Gardner is he's such an elite level corner that he basically is Revis Island out there. He eliminates a whole half of the field more or less from the passing game. But what does he contribute in the run game? I can't speak to that. My mentality, I would rather go and have the defensive end. But in their rookie campaign, Sauce Gardner did outperform Aiden Hutchinson. Gardner posted on X, "This is only the beginning," and thanks to his brother and his agent. Sauce Gardner had 2 years remaining on his rookie contract, including his 5th-year option in 2026, which would have been just a nice little, again, just some walking around money. Clearly, a significantly less amount of walking around money than he got now. As the kids say, a few less bands. He'd only made $20.2 million on his rookie deal. The Jets have now secured 2 foundational players through 2030, taking a proactive approach seldom seen with past stars in the franchise's history. So you see, they're trying to rebuild Aaron Glenn, maybe bringing a little bit of that mentality over to the Jets that he learned from his time in Detroit. Gardner and Wilson became the first 2 former first-round picks under the NFL's current financial system, which went into effect in 2011 to receive extensions in their first year of eligibility, which would be after 3 years. Gardner becomes the first Jets player since linebacker C.J. Mosley to be the highest paid in the league at his respective position. In 2019, Mosley signed a 5-year, $85 million contract as a free agent. His $17 million a year average held the top spot among off-ball linebackers for a astonishing 4 months. Gardner, 24, made it clear that at recent minicamp he wanted to remain with the Jets long term. Quote, "I want to change the organization," he said. "I want to be part of changing the organization." The Jets' new regime, headed by coach Aaron Glenn and general manager Devin Mowgli, stated from the outset that its goal was to keep the top young players, something past regimes have failed to do. We read that yesterday. Gardner made an immediate impact, capturing NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year honors in 2022. He's the only cornerback since NFL-AFL merger in 1970 to be named first-team All-Pro in each of his first 2 seasons. That is very impressive. That is very, very impressive. I mean, we are talking 50-plus years of ball. That's Very, very, I got to admit, that's very impressive. Look at me over here gushing over Sauce Gardner. Only 2 other defensive players have pulled that off: former New York Jets legend Lawrence Taylor and Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons. As a rookie, Gardner ranked number 2 among cornerbacks in EPA, expected points added, per target as the nearest defender. Next gen stats, he slipped to 13th in 2023 and 47th in 2024. So a little bit of a slippage there, but now the pressure's on him because they let, obviously, DJ Reed walk, signed here in the Motor City, brought in to be a rock-solid number 1, transitioning to a number 2 as Terrion Arnold continues to ascend, right? No sophomore slump for Terrion Arnold. He's going to have sticky fingers this year. But now the pressure's going to be on Sauce Gardner. You know, it's are you going to be Revis Island 2.0? Are you going to make sure that all wide receivers just get lost in the sauce, if it were? Possibly. The Jets are not a bad defensive organization, and now they're coming at it with a defensive-minded head coach, not to mention Aaron Glenn, being a former first-round pick who played a very long time at a high level in the NFL, ascending the ranks and post-playing career through coaching careers to a high-level defensive coordinator, good at game schemes, not necessarily so much at mid-game adjustments, but we were hindered by injuries from time to time, as well as a lack of talent early on in Aaron Glenn's career, talent available to him to play with. But now we're going to see an emphasis on defense. He can identify the talent. He knows what he sees with Sauce Gardner, and I think you're going to see Sauce Gardner be that guy for a while. I really do think he is a very high-level corner. I think this is a justified contract. Personally, if I was a coach or a GM, I would have loved to have maybe shaved a couple, 2-3 mil off the annual cap. But we can talk about how this might be handled. Something that can make you guys kind of think about how things are a little bit differently in today's NFL. Let's go ahead and play this from ESPN.
Cornerstones of the 2022 NFL Draft. They're just one of 4 duos to win offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year in the same year for the same team. Gardner was.
That's pretty impressive. Check that out. You see a drastic uptick in regularity.
All-Pro as a rookie and in 2023 as well. So, Bug, Jets giving out money. What do you make of the Sauce Gardner signing?
Yeah, I mean, this was only a formality. I think we all knew it was coming. If you look at what he's done, Gross, since he's been in the league, he's been one of the better corners in the league. And if the
so that's what Booger McFarland's up to, huh? You guys remember when Booger had the Booger Mobile on Monday Night Football? Good old Booger McFarland. All right, we're going to be done with that. Talking smoke flower, eat some gummies, no wax, and don't smoke those pin flowers is a way to Frank the Tank, my guy. You are partying hardy over there. It's hump day, my day off. I love it. Hell, oh, gotcha. You got Wednesdays off, my dude. That's what's up, Frank the Tank. Pull up day, flip flying in the fighter jets. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Mr. Detroit City. Brent DeWitt, coach. Fit video is awesome. What I missed? Did he do something cool? Oh, he was flying in the. Gotcha. Dave Phipp was in fighter jets. Gotcha. I was reading that as a tongue twister, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm padded helmet today. I'm padded helmet today, hat and beard. I'm helmet and beard today, guys. Yes, Brent Sauce is now the highest paid corner the highest paid corner currently per annual. He just nudged out Derek Stingley by $100,000 a year. Derek Stingley averaging 3-year, $90 million, so it's $30 million a year, and then Sauce Gardner getting a 4-year, $120.4, which is $30.1 million. Glasgow will be starting center. Mahogany, Wiggy guard. Coyote will be the other guard starting week 1. You think, Frank? You think Coyote will be our guy, huh? So you feeling like the Motor City Mullet's not going to sign, or he's just not going to quite be there? Glasgow's going to be starting at center. I hate the idea of Coyote Awashika being our starting guard at any point during the season. If for whatever reason the Detroit Lions are having some type of inability to sign Tater Ratledge and get him under contract, get him into camp. I think the Lions then start to look Brendan Sheriff's way I don't think Awashika is the answer, but we did bring in Natui Mui or whatever, or Nuti Mutui or whatever his name is, the big guard. He might have a little bit of reppage, and who knows? Maybe I can't believe I'm saying this. Maybe Colby Sorsdahl does something. I don't know. Bitch, got to ride with the Blue Angels. Damn, dude. His dad. Oh wow. So Brent did his dad fly, or did his dad fly with the Blue Angels? This was his status as Lions coach, but yeah, his dad flew. That's wild, dude. You know how insane that would be? Those guys can do some, like, the stress that now they're naval aviators. So the frames are a little bit differently than, like, say, your long distance fighters that the Air Force has, but like the stress that those guys put on those airframes is wild, dude. Oh, damn, it's a 15-minute long video?
It had always been a dream of mine to take a ride with the Blue Angel.
Oh, why are we so loud?
But it's one of those things you never really feel like, there's no way this will ever happen.
I'd be shitting my pants.
Dude, it's hard to believe we're in this building right now.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. Super.
We drove in there, and they have a bunch of Blue Angels.
I'll watch this whole thing later.
At the same time, I'm like, no wonder why these pilots just think they're badass, because they and we just go straight up.
People on planet Earth, yo.
There we go.
Shitting in
Here she's alive.
He fires the afterburners up, and we just start rolling, and it is accelerating.
150 knots.
150 knots.
We are flying.
He picks up the landing gear. You can feel the gear come up underneath you. And he says, I'm going to say ready, and then we're going to pull back and start to climb. So he starts to give you that ready call.
Ready, hit it.
Bang, he pulls the stick back, and we just go straight up in the air. And in like 2 seconds, we're at 9,500 feet. He pitches the thing sideways, and then darn near like starts pulling it back down, and then just rolls on out of there, and you can see the whole airfield beneath you. I mean, it was incredible.
Gets up and goes quickly. Yeah, it climbs a little fast. Thing up. Is it hard to hold your altitude like that? Look, no hands. I'm on autopilot right now. Oh, okay.
He says, you see the 2 rocks out there? To start off, we're going to shoot right through the middle of them.
No!
I'm like, oh
no!
my gosh.
No! I'd be like, fuck you.
Dude, pretty sick entry to the route, huh? Yeah, super sick.
He says, okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rip through these low canyons. And the first thing that came to my mind is like, damn, dude, I wonder if it's going to be like that Top Gun thing. So bang, we're making a right turn, banking into the canyon, the hills on your left-hand side.
All right, hard turn coming to the left.
And he says, okay, we're going to make a left-hand turn. Bang, and we're weaving through these canyons with the left-hand turn.
How'd that feel? Yeah, awesome. Cool.
We were swinging around left and right. I mean, I'm having the time of my life, don't get me wrong, but I'm also
Dude,
starting
look
to
how
feel a
happy
little
and
uneasy.
he's real. He's having the time of his damn life, yo.
When you board the plane, they give you 2 bags in case you end up having to throw up or something. The fear is you throw up or you end up passing out because of the G's that you pull. I said, I really don't want to throw up. I don't care if I pass out.
Coming up here in about 2 miles, there's a road in front of us. We're going to fly like right over a little border patrol checkpoint on this road, so I'll put the smoke on for him, say what's up. See it here coming under the right wing. Yep. Give a little wing flash. What's up?
And then it took a second to process, but I'm like, wait a minute. He said like 2 miles out. It only took like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
We were going so fast.
All right, I'm going to slow us down. Get going back to about 250 knots. And then
Slow us down
I'll put in an afterburner, and we'll see how fast we can get up to 600 knots.
We're going to go
Jesus
max afterburners.
Christ.
So I kind of knew it was coming. I put my head back, and then all of a sudden we are humming.
Boom, there's the push. Hands are lit. 550.
No.
600, not bad, huh? Yeah,
Dude.
He's like, okay, we're at about 0.95 Mach. And I'm like, damn, just like that. And we were like 500 feet off the ground. Woo! I think at that point we ended up climbing up and gaining some altitude. And he said, we'll head on over to the Salton Sea and we'll start doing some aerobatic work.
And we'll start doing some aerobatic work.
You have any aerobatic experience? Not at all. None? I heard you have a commercial, is that right? Yeah, nice. And IFR. Okay, very nice.
Damn,
and
dude.
doing the aerobatic work,
That's
they
impressive.
teach you before you go out there how to like handle the
50 doing
G's.
some
And
crazy
part of it's with
shit.
your legs, and you're flexing your legs, and then you're taking these 3/4 breaths. You have to prepare yourself for the G's, or else the blood goes out of your head and it flushes down to your legs, and you lose consciousness. I think we start off with just a full loop, which is just incredible, just going all the way over the top and coming back down.
Oh, it's actually really cool with the clouds right there.
And this pilot, he's just like, feeling
light over the top. Your smoke trail.
With each maneuver, the pilot would tell you, like, okay, we're going to pull about 4
Fuck,
G's.
man.
You're going to need to use your legs, but you're not going to
Oh,
have to
all
work.
right. Yeah, I can't just sit here and I'll sit here and watch this whole damn thing. Woo-wee. Woo, I'll just sit here and watch that whole thing. Woo. Oh, that was wild, man. You guys check that out later. All right, so we got about a half hour. I'm not going to talk about Randy Moss. It's up in the poll. It's pretty much a bullshit story. We do have a poll pulled up. Let's see. We got 4 of you hanging out. That's what's up, guys. Is Tyreek Hill still number 1 wide receiver? Walking away with it, 57% of the vote. Yes, he still has juice at 31 years old. Got 7 votes. No, Moss is right with 14% of the votes. And 29% of you say he's good, but no Hall of Famer. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe down below. We will be going 5 days a week here the week of July 28th. So, guys, let's just go ahead and bypass this nonsense. We're going to take another look into this other video. Now, some of you are probably like, hey girl, hey. How are teams making all of these big money contract extensions? How are they able to finagle these big deals, spread the wealth out, if it were, you know? I mean, yes, the cap does go up every single year, but you're like, okay, how are you going to pay all these dudes? Well, there is some math to be had and some games to be played, and thankfully, YouTube, being a incredibly powerful resource, millions of people uploading wild content all the time. Some people really, really do great jobs. Brett Coleman being one of them. Now, he has a great breakdown over here of I guess there's no description. Gotcha. He paid for. We'll have to make sure and get that out of there and not get copyrighted. But he just breaks down how the salary cap works out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
It all started 21 years ago in 2004. The reigning NFL MVP waited 6 whole years for his rookie contract to expire before signing a 7-year extension that was worth the most money ever. And yet, not a single dime of his base salary was guaranteed. Then came 2009. A young gun over in San Diego signed yet another big money extension on his rookie deal that featured 2 things that rarely, if ever, had been seen before for a contract of that magnitude: a really big option bonus and rolling guaranteed salaries. And finally, there was 2016. A legendary figure down in the Big Easy was days away from the start of the season, and it was the last year of his contract. He wanted a long-term new deal, of course, but the Saints were down to their last $300K in cap space earlier that offseason, and they were unsure if they could do that kind of lengthy commitment for an older quarterback with degrading arm strength. However, as the negotiating deadline neared, the Saints front office did have an idea for how to both make that quarterback happy and give themselves much-needed flexibility. Enter the contract that changed everything.
It's happy signing day if you're Drew Brees. Drew Brees and the Saints have reached an agreement on a contract extension. It'll be announced as a 5-year deal, but Brees is contractually committed to the Saints for only the next 2 seasons.
The Saints gave Drew Brees a 1-year extension to have his contract run through the end of the 2017 season and stuffed not 1, not 2, but 3 voidable years on the back of it.
that right there is the key to everything. These void years. I was going to talk about these void years, and they're the most important thing that has been utilized by GMs in manipulating the salary cap, right? Yeah, Jeanette, I would have passed out right at takeoff too. Those guys go so crazy. They go so crazy fast. Man, Kerry, my guy, you were very high on Jamarco Jones. And yeah, dude, Manu, everybody keeps forgetting about Manu Ginobili. God damn it. One of these days, I will not call Giovanni Manu Ginobili. I swear I will get it right one of these days. Harry Potter, is that you? Mr. Tricity. So Coach Phipp said he has no intention of being a head coach. Dude, you know what, Brett? I think you're right. He does have the moxie. Talk about just an awesome seaman guy right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to this video. Brett Coleman breaking this down.
Effectively making a contract that actually had more fake years on it than real ones. It was genius. Breeze's cap hit got lowered for 2016. He got his guarantees that he wanted for 2017, but most importantly, that deal bought everybody time. After that successful pivot, Saints GM Mickey Loomis ran wild with the concept. Void years had been around since the early 90s, of course, but no team had ever used them like this before. Nor had they ever embraced a philosophy of riding a knife's edge year after year and using restructures, extensions, and void years to get out.
Yeah, the Saints, though, kind of ended up becoming a victim of their own success, and maybe not necessarily maybe they outsmarted themselves, because now the Saints are and have been in salary cap hell for years now.
Out of cap trouble over and over again while holding the roster together. For 7 straight seasons after that Breeze deal, New Orleans was in the bottom 10 in available cap space at the start of every league year. But they did make the playoffs back to back to back to back in 4 of those years.
That could never be us, right, chat? It could never be us. Brad Holmes cannot fall victim to this. It could never be us, right?
The plan was sort of working until, it wasn't. For a team like the Saints that was operating under a fiscal philosophy that looked like it was conceived by an options trader on bath salts, the pandemic was devastating. The lost revenue for the NFL from the 2020 season resulted in the only time in the last decade and a half where cap space actually went down league-wide year over year. Loomis's entire cap management strategy relied on the cap continuously going up so he could just kick the proverbial can down the road every single offseason, knowing full well that the following year's cap growth would give him space to maneuver again. But once the cap went down, Loomis had pretty much no space to quickly replenish a rapidly aging roster, and everything pretty much fell apart overnight. The Saints haven't been back to the playoffs since then, and next year in 2026, not even this year, next year, is going to be the first time in about half a decade where the Saints might possibly have a decently healthy cap situation.
And nobody to give the money to.
Guess we'll see, but suffice to say, the rebuild has been a very slow and painful process. But in that pain, there was a lesson. Not for the Saints, of course, but for all the other GMs around the league that were watching Mickey Loomis ride the lightning for all those years, who now had to get creative with their own roster management to deal with that temporary dip in cap.
God damn, Robert Kraft looks old. He really aged up once he got caught getting rub and tugs at massage parlors. And talk about the difference in wealth between players who have generational wealth and owners who have old world money. Because, I mean, Deshaun Watson, Justin Tucker, they got caught getting doing nasty, freaky stuff with massage chicks, and they got in big trouble. Robert Kraft gets caught getting some rub and tugs from massage chicks, and nobody talks about it. It just went away.
Cap space from the pandemic. New Orleans in the late 2010s was the test case for everyone. They were the proof of concept that NFL teams could spend money to save money.
And from that proof of concept,
an even better blueprint was born. If you want to build a dynasty in this league, cash is king.
So before we get into it, like, share, comment, subscribe, because I'm gonna get copyrighted hardcore. This will at least get partially blocked, if not fully blocked. So hopefully, we'll see. I might just end up having to scrub the whole thing. God damn, is that just not one of the best riffs ever?
Got something special going on. That was important to me to take that approach with it.
But the way it's structured, the way it's paid out, the way the guarantees work,
he could have made it harder.
Deeper into it, he's going to be underpaid.
Right.
We got to see this again. This kid is special, man. Just whoop.
There he goes. By the way, so that's the picture that they used for the Madden cover. And the Jags had him block out the team so you couldn't see who he was jumping over.
Think to do that.
I don't mean to rub it in, Giants fans. But really?
Play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working.
Skill positions in Philly.
We got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. It's crazy.
You have Pro Bowlers at every starter on. Really, not
Howie
even
season,
the skill.
baby.
Every starter is a Pro Bowler.
To me, the offensive line for the Eagles, how about the difference when they would go back and forth and then the Eagles would come back and you'd be like, well, they're just not generating any pressure. Jalen's sitting back there having a hot dog.
When you've got the lines of scrimmage taken care of to the level the Eagles do,
Which that's what the Lions do. We control the line of scrimmage at both sides of the ball.
It's going to be hard to beat. It's just the machine is humming right now, you know?
I think it goes without saying that a lot has changed from 2004 to 2025. The salary cap has risen a whopping 346% over that time period, while the top of the quarterback market has exploded even more and risen by 408%. What began with a reigning MVP not getting a single dime of guaranteed salary has evolved into Brock Purdy signing a contract that not only, when adjusting for inflation, has a higher percentage of the cap than Peyton's first blockbuster deal, but it also has a whopping 69% of the total contract being guaranteed.
Let's go ahead and let that sink in real quick. Because all the times they are a-changin'. When Peyton signed his big ass extension, his first extension, he was getting less percentage and no guarantees compared to Brock Purdy, who's getting a wild percentage of the cap and 69% of his money is guaranteed. Are those guys in the same sphere? Are they in the same levels? Fuck no. But that's how the markets go, baby.
Year after year, we see quarterbacks shatter the market with jaw-dropping numbers that far exceed anything that past generations received, even when adjusting for the growth of the cap. Monster guarantees, monster signing bonuses, and, of course, monster cap hits. How did we even get here? Why has the quarterback position out...
Ah, good old Jared Goff right there. Right there in the old middle rooski. Look at that. Jared Goff coming in with 1 year, one void year at the back end. That ain't bad at all.
Scaled the entire rest of the sport. And perhaps even more importantly, how the hell are teams even making this work anymore? I mean, logically speaking, every single team that signs a deal like this should be crippled, right? Well, not exactly. But before we get into the riveting, hyper niche world of salary cap management and accounting and all the option bonus fuckery going on over in Philadelphia these days, I do want to thank our sponsor that for well over a... I still in like a compact box. With that, let's get back.
I don't know if this is just a YouTube premium thing. I watch so much damn YouTube. But do you guys have the jump ahead feature when people do ads where you can fast forward, bam, bam, and then it brings up a jump ahead and you can just jump right ahead? Damn, YouTube. That is like one of the best as far as a consumer's concerned. Huh, that is just friggin' awesome. It's just friggin' awesome, Randers.
Back to it. When looking at not the inflated average annual value numbers that get posted by the media every single time a contract gets announced, by the way,
Carrie, you pay your way out and you got to pay for the rub and tug. Oh!
Fun fact, those numbers
I'm just kidding, brother.
Pretty much bullshit. But if you don't factor in AAV and you're just looking at cap hits and you're looking at cap percentages every single year on these new money quarterback deals, they're actually a lot more team friendly than they might seem. Take Trevor Lawrence's deal as an example. When he signed his 5-year, $275 million contract extension that valued him at $55 million in AAV last offseason, with $200 million guaranteed, by the way.
And was T-Law worth that money? Is Trevor Lawrence worth that?
A lot of people got pretty big sticker shock on that. I mean, after all, what has Trevor Lawrence done?
Yeah, Brent, I heard he was getting some deep tissue massages
to deserve being at the top of the market in AAV. And that $55 million average represented a whopping 21.5% of the salary cap at the time of signing, which far exceeded Manning's blockbuster 2004 rookie extension that was valued at 17.6% of the cap at signing. Manning was the reigning MVP at the time, while Lawrence was, let's be honest, far from that. So bogging down the rest of the roster by spending over...
Trevor Lawrence is upper level mid. Trevor Lawrence needs to get out of Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is Jared Goff 2.0. If Trevor Lawrence could get out of Jacksonville and go to a organization that could build around him with actual talent and not be ran by subpar management with high-end, lower middling expectations, like their high-end is lower middle results. If Trevor Lawrence could go to a team that could really unlock him and could compete for a championship, or at least had a winner's mentality, Trevor Lawrence could be a very, very good quarterback in the NFL. But in Jacksonville, it's just squandered, wasted opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Had all his rings around his sixth finger. That's funny.
Over 20% of the cap on a good but not elite quarterback seemed insane on paper. Except if you actually look at how the Lawrence deal is structured, he never even gets close to taking up that much of the Jags salary cap over the next 4 seasons.
Pay attention, class, because he's about to take us to school.
In fact, from this coming year in 2025 all the way until 2028,
there will be a quiz on this at the end of the class, students.
He never even gets to 13% of the cap. The Jags have plenty of space to maneuver around and build the team any way that they want to. And the reason for that, again, is the structure of the deal. Those details are what matters. The reported value of it on the surface, that $55 million number, it's basically fake, honestly. It's a vanity number. It's
fake news. You are fake news.
Almost meaningless. Just think of modern quarterback contracts, and really all modern high-dollar NFL contracts for any position, as you would a volume of water, with the water itself representing the total amount of money to be paid on the deal. The vertical axis here can represent a cap hit, while the horizontal axis represents the surface area of years that a contract lasts for. Again, on paper, not all the time in real life. If you put 2 cups of water, or in this case, 2 cups of money in a narrow container, it's not very wide, and therefore not that many years of surface area, so that water's going to be deeper. That depth represents the size of the average cap hit. But in a wider container, that same 2-cup volume of water...
Sam, I don't think anybody is really a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I don't think anybody's really, like, yeah, he's got all the mechanics of it, but I don't know, man. He's just kind of a dweeb. It's kind of a dork.
Will be much more shallow because it has more room to spread out. That represents smaller cap hits over a longer period of time. And this entire visual is why void years are so powerful. Lawrence has 2 void years, or dummy years, on the back end of his deal, which basically gave the Jaguars a 9-year surface area to work with to spread the cap hits out from 2024, which is when the deal was originally signed, through the 5th-year option year, which is right now in 2025, to the extra 5 years of the extension on top of that, and then finally the 2 void years on the back end that are not real contract years. They're just there for accounting purposes. Trevor's signing bonus was relatively low, at least by modern standards, at only $37.5 million, which was barely over Peyton's signing bonus from 2 decades ago.
Whoa.
And that was purposeful because signing bonuses can be prorated over 5 years. So from 2024 to 2028, that upfront real cash flow that has already hit Lawrence's personal bank account, that's only going to cost the Jags $7.5 million against the cap per year over the next 5 years. Additionally, Lawrence's salaries are extremely low through 2028 as well, so those don't even add a lot to his cap hit either. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, okay, well, then if Lawrence has a low signing bonus and low salaries, how the hell is he making $55 million a year? Well, again, he's not. He's actually making $43 million a year in terms of overall averages across the entire surface of the deal. And starting this year in 2025, he has 4 straight seasons of rolling option bonuses that are $35 million each. And here's the kicker, those do not count as $35 million cap hits immediately. Remember, option bonuses, just like signing bonuses, can also be prorated over a 5-year period. And they can stack on top of each other. So the 2025 option bonus is, again, $35 million in real life going into Lawrence's actual bank account up front, but it only counts as an additional $7 million against the cap for the next 5 years. And then you add on the same option bonus again next year to the stack, that's another $7 million to make it 14, and then another the year after that to make it 21, and then the year after that to make it 28 in 2028. And here's where the use of void years is key, because when that last 2028 option bonus hits, those 2 void years stretch the available surface area to 5 years out from the time that bonus hits. So you can use those 2 dummy years as just extra fake surface area to spread the money out.
It's so clever. It's so clever. It's a really clever way of doing business, fellas.
This structure for the cash flow gives these stacked bonuses room to come down gracefully and therefore keep the total cap hits low, or at least relatively low. Add in those lower salaries, a low signing bonus, and the standard $500K workout bonuses, and you have real cash flows in Lawrence's bank account every single year in the high 30s to low 40 millions, but his cap hits don't even get over 50 million until 2029. And by then, he's probably going to get extended anyway, just to lower those hits all over again by doing the exact same type of structure. So many quarterbacks that have been extended since 2020 have similar kinds of deals in place to keep their hits low. Jordan Love got 3 void years to spread the pain, except he had a bigger signing bonus but less option bonuses. It effectively did the same thing though. His cap hits never even get over 42 million for another 4 years on a deal that's technically worth 55 a year in compensation, except again, it's not. Tua also has 2 void years on his deal, and Miami can get out of that one in only 2 years from now if they want.
Which Miami should. I'm sorry, Tua. You're a fucking liability, bruh.
Want to. It really doesn't hurt them at all. Kirk Cousins got 3 void years in Atlanta last year. Burrow got 3 void years. Lamar has 2 void years. Jalen Hurts has 4 void years, and literally 6 straight seasons of just him getting paid in bonuses. He got a $255 million deal, and I'm not even joking. Only 3% of it is salary. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. But it works. Like, I'll hand it to him. It works. And of course, when talking about all the quarterback deals signed since 2020, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the elephant in the room. Arguably the catalyst for all the borderline money laundering.
Brent, I believe at least one of his years is a void year. I'm not sure about the last 2, but yeah, Jared Goff has at least 1 void year on his deal. Brad Holmes, though, I think maybe doesn't get out over his skis with void years simply to avoid the pitfalls that the Saints ran into. So maybe he's trying to walk that real tight edge between old ways of doing things and modern ways of doing business, that maybe he can find a happy middle ground, because obviously we always know the answer is never all the way to one or all the way to the other, but it's somewhere in between. And it could be part of the evolutionary step that Brad Holmes is making with the Detroit Lions.
We've seen in the quarterback market over the last 5 years. And I think you know who I'm talking about.
With breaking news, NFL Network's Michael Silver is reporting that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Super Bowl champion quarterback,
Carrie, I like that. Lawrence reminds you of Goff, except for he runs and is not as accurate and has long hair. He's not as accurate, maybe has a little bit more zing on the ball, but low key. Low-key, Jared Goff gets that Drew Bledsoe run on, dude. He starts lumbering down the field like the statue reminiscent of Drew Bledsoe, dude. Jared Goff got some sneaky, sneaky wheels on him, bro. And I'm telling you, you guys, I'm telling you, Jared Goff's going to start against the Bears twice this year and have 3 pick sixes in each game, one of which he'll return from the back end of the end zone all the way for a pick six against the Chicago Bears. That's what's going to happen.
Patrick Mahomes.
So Jared Goff, sneaky, sneaky athletic.
Have come to an agreement on a 10-year contract extension that could keep the Super Bowl MVP in KC through the 2031 season.
You have to understand, at the time of the Patrick Mahomes deal, Russell Wilson was the highest paid player in the NFL at $35 million AAV. Technically, we've established that number doesn't really mean anything, but again, let's just use it for argument's sake. $35 million AAV, highest paid player. Mahomes got 45 for 10 years. Mickey Loomis walked so that Brett Veach could set the land speed record, apparently. And naturally, the reason why the deal was for $45 million a year for a decade was A, as a form of future.
Hey, Brett Coleman, I don't know if you're ever going to watch this, but that was a really funny analogy.
Proofing, because Mahomes quickly established himself as arguably, at the time, the best quarterback in the league, and the Chiefs didn't want to just have to keep redoing his deal over and over again as other guys got paid, so they just set the bar extremely high right out the gate. And B, again, they wanted a very large surface area full of rolling guaranteed roster bonuses and high salaries that could be converted into signing bonuses that get prorated, and they needed room on the back end of the deal to do all of that and keep the cap hits manageable. Nearly 20 years ago, the Falcons tried to do a similar thing with Michael Vick when he signed a 10-year deal, which then got cut short for
Michael Vick was cheat mode. Look at him go. That's just cheat mode right there.
Obvious reasons, but the principle was the same. Really, the only major difference between the philosophies of both KC and Atlanta for how they handled the Mahomes and Vick extensions, and the philosophy of the Eagles for how they handled the Hurts extension, is that KC and Atlanta spread the pain out by just doing 10-year contracts of real years, while Philly spread the pain out by doing a normal contract and then just tacking a shitload of void years on the back end. They both created large surface areas, they just did it a different way. Though, I guess if we're being honest, the Eagles are very different than the rest of the league for a particular reason, and that particular reason is a rabbit hole that I didn't expect this episode to go down when I started writing it, but we also kind of have to go down that rabbit hole together in order for you to understand everything else I'm about to talk about. So forgive me. The short version of this, the Eagles are insane. And the long version is, the Eagles are still insane, and also here's a 6-minute explanation for how.
He's an Eagles fan, just so you guys are aware.
Somewhere along the line here, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman fully bought into the shenanigans that the Saints pioneered, and they started doing this void year heavy style of contract for everybody, not just Jalen Hurts. Like, if you look at all of the Eagles' top contracts, they all have 3 or even 4 void years on the back end. They don't just do it for quarterbacks. So basically, none of their top players ever have cap hits that reflect the top of the market, even though all of their real cash flows into their bank accounts are at the top of the market. And conveniently, most of their cap maneuvering all happens to be sunsetting at around the exact same time. And again, that is for a very particular reason. Jalen's last real year is 2028 before all these void years slam home with a combined $97.5 million dead cap hit in 2029. And remember, just because a cap hit is thrown into a group of void years, that doesn't mean that the hit doesn't exist. It just means that all of the spread out hits slam home together at once as soon as that first void year triggers. So that's why the 2029 cap hit is so high, but it's not just Hurts that hits in that year. Landon Dickerson, also in 2029, has a $35 million dead cap hit from all of his void years slamming home. Lane Johnson, that
I would love to make content like this.
Same year, has a $30 million dead cap hit, also from his void years.
God damn, look at like the image in the back, the graphics that he's got. It's, god damn, I would love to make content like this, man.
Jordan Mailata, same thing, 2029, $35.7 million dead cap hit. Devonta Smith, 2029, $35.8 million dead cap hit. Saquon, again, 2029, $32.5 million dead cap hit. Even Jake Elliott, the fucking kicker, $8.6 million dead cap hit in, you guessed it, 2029. At least Zach Bond's different. He has a $24.8 million dead cap hit by 2028 when all of his void years slam home. And then finally, both A.J. Brown and Cam Jurgens have a $53 million dead cap hit and a $28.7 million dead cap hit, respectively, in 2030. All told, it's around $381.6 million in void years slamming home, all between 2028 and 2030. Even the Eagles could not eat that much dead cap in such a short time period. Like, it's not even remotely possible. But here's the twist. They're not going to. If all goes to plan, most of these deals are likely going to be extended again with short-term real years that have a ton of void years on the back end, just like that famous 2016 Drew Brees deal. And that's going to be done to ease the pain and give the franchise's cap situation a soft landing into 2030 and beyond. I cannot possibly emphasize this enough, but that year is everything. Like, not just for the Eagles, but for everybody. The Eagles' entire cap management strategy today, and I would argue a lot of other teams' entire cap management strategy today, is built around all of their plans for 2030. And that is not an accident, because you know what happens after the 2029 season? The NFL gets to exercise their opt-out clause for the media rights distribution deal, meaning CBS, Fox, NBC, all those deals go away. Everybody has to go back to the table and renegotiate for 2030 and beyond. And, you know, kind of side tangent here, because Nielsen recently adjusted how they calculate their ratings, across the board, I'm talking across the entire industry, every genre of TV, ratings are up 5 to 40%. Not because more people are watching, but more so because more people are getting accurately counted by Nielsen. So everybody's ratings have skyrocketed, including the NFL. So we're pretty sure this new deal that gets negotiated for 2030 is going to be worth, as one esteemed economist put it recently, a metric fuckload. Over the last 3 media rights distribution deals, the average...
Dude, the NFL is going to get so much goddamn money from this next media deal.
First year jump in cap space in the new deal is 13.6%. And the largest cap growth we ever saw was a 19.3% year over year growth. The cap right now is $279.2 million, but the 2030 cap could possibly be between $430 and $450 million. And the Eagles know this. Their owner, Jeffrey...
Could you imagine the contracts that are going to get doled out when they hit $500 million of cap space?
Lurie comes from a film and television production background. He is well aware, more than most, of what is coming down the pipe in these rights negotiations. So as far as what the cap hits are projected to be and what the dead money hits are projected to be based on when all these void years are slamming home, I don't really think the Eagles care. Like, I honestly don't think they care at all. Lurie sold an 8% stake in the team just last year to raise $660 million in liquid capital to fund all of these contracts. Most owners cannot do this. Like, they can't even dream of it. Even Lurie himself couldn't dream of it before he sold a stake in the team because he needed all of that liquidity. And as far as his net worth and, you know, his equity in the team, and if he, you know, lost money doing this because he's giving all of his money to the players, here's a fun little dirty secret from the world of the ultra wealthy. Every dime that Lurie has spent building the super team, he's already made back. The Eagles today, after winning the Super Bowl, are more valuable than they were a year ago, to the point where 92% of the Eagles right now is worth more than 100% of the Eagles right before he sold his stake. So his net worth has actually gone up. He basically just got a whole bunch of free money to build a super team and win a Super Bowl, and he's still just as rich, if not richer. Like, this whole scheme is brilliant, because on paper, there's kind of not really a downside. Spend money, win games, make even more money, and then just do it all over again. And when you look around the NFL, every single team has paid attention to what Philly has done here. A lot of them are going to try to replicate it. Some of them might try to get it banned if they don't have the liquidity to do it, and they also don't want to sell a stake in their team.
If you don't like what they're doing and you can't beat them, make it illegal!
And I think there's a couple franchises that qualify for that description. But I don't know what the league is going to do. Like, maybe they'll let teams keep doing it. Maybe they'll ban it. I have no idea. All I really know is this. For now, in the modern NFL, the salary cap is only as real as you allow it to be.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? All right, boys, we're going to get copyrighted on this video, so there's no sense really plugging too terrible much. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Carrie absolutely nailed it. say thank you to Brad for being so responsive to the financial situation of this team. We will be in the lead of all the teams. And that's exactly what we've seen over the past few years, and that is Brad Holmes is going about doing his business in a revolutionary way. He's changing the NFL from how coaches handle their business to the type of players that you draft to how you handle financial situations. And I think in a few years, people will be looking back at Brad Holmes as one of the more bigger brains to ever wheel and deal from the GM spot of an NFL franchise, as well as being one of the captains of the ship, leading the worst franchise into a historic rebuild, now a year in and year out contender. So it's absolutely awesome. Brad got us out of cap hell, that's for sure. Exactly, Brent DeWitt. You guys nailed it. So, boys, that is going to be it for today. That's going to be it for the week. We will be back next Monday. It's a very special, important Monday next Monday. Not only is it the first Monday of vacation, but it's also Hat and Boob's birthday. So it'll be a little bit more freewheeling and dealing on Monday, but we'll be hanging out with you guys Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Then we're going to be geared up for the big week of July 28th when we will be going 5 days a week. Going to be really focusing down, sharpening our pencils, getting this content squirreled away for you guys. A little less slop, a little more pizzazz, a little bit more actual stuff that you want to see, because we're getting right up on the start of the NFL regular season. I can't wait. You can't wait. We are just champing at the bit, ready to go. I'm so ready for the football season to start. I feel like it's been forever since even the UFL was playing ball a few weeks ago, but we're finally getting there. We're getting there. We're so close, boys. So do me a solid. Have yourself a good rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend. Don't party too hard. I'm an ex-season ticket holder and watched the Lions for 42 years, and Brad has done wonders. It's crazy. Yeah, dude, I'm not, I haven't watched him for 42 years, but 37. So I've watched him for quite a bit of time, and yeah, it's something we've never seen before. The way Brad Holmes goes about his business, the way the team is ran, managed, top down from day-to-day activities to practice, to how they perform in the games, to how we draft, deal with financial situations. It's an entirely different thing. I mean, the term SOL doesn't even resolve anymore. No one even mentions SOL anymore because it's so far in the rearview mirror. We are a totally different organization than we were 3-4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So thanks to Brad Holmes. And I know you guys are saying it. Me and Brad Holmes look an awful lot alike. But in case you forgot, big glaring difference between me and Brad Holmes. I got a lot more hair than he does. So stay out of trouble. Enjoy the weekend. Don't call for bail. We'll see you guys Monday, 10 a.m., 11 Standard, 9 a.m. Central, here at YouTube.com. Broadcasting exclusively from Grandma Studio 1. Share this around as much as you can, guys. We got to hammer in the views before midnight when I get the copyright strike for playing the video that had copyrighted music in it. So we'll see you guys Monday. Have a good rest of the week. Stay out of trouble. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Bonga bonga.